memories now, wheelchair and all, because we road tripped it from Texas. It was awesome. We rented a big van. When this happened, we were in Florida, again, happy place. We were going to be there for like 8 to 10 weeks. We booked these condos. Like the kids, I'm speaking in Orlando for Monique McLean. I was going on that night and had no idea that there was a 5 by 3 centimeter tumor in my left femur. And so I had a benign tumor in this leg, had no idea. I knew that the ankle wasn't feeling good, but had no idea on the knee. That's kind of like emotions, right? Like emotions underneath and emotions that people have a lot of times. There's stuff that you just can't see. So I get into this surfing simulator with my oldest, the Flow Rider, the thing that's got the like fake wave that you get on. I hop in that thing, and I want to see how you do the broken leg thing. Yeah, that's awesome, because the wave thing was good. It was good. Okay, that's good. Do that again. One more time with the wave thing. See, that's good. That's legit. The wave thing. So I get into the wave machine, and I literally lose my footing and fall, and that whole part where that tumor was gave way and shattered my whole femur and broke half my knee off, right? And so during that period of time, like we had all this awesomeness planned for the kids, and that all got canceled and shattered just like my leg, right? And so we went through this whole time period of bringing them home, of going through emotions and going through all the things that they didn't get to have. Like a lot of their life has been, hey, we didn't get to do that. We didn't get to hang out with Evans. We didn't get to go to that place. We didn't get to go to Australia on the diamond trip because Dad broke his leg. Those kind of things. And so, this whole trip was part of our thing of this trip was rewriting old neurology for them, like setting new memories up in the place of old disappointments. And that's huge. And the thing you need to understand about neurology is you can build it for how you want it, and then it can get shifted the other way, meaning it's malleable. It's like silly putty. Like your brain, you literally can make it into new structures and new material. And so what you feed the brain and what you tell your kids and how you talk to your kids and how you talk to your spouse and how do you talk to yourself and the things that you listen to and the things that you watch and all of this is more important than you could ever imagine to how it creates structures in the brain, and those structures will stay there until you write a new one. And so most people just don't understand that happens, and that they don't understand that you can write new ones. So a lot of this stuff that we build into our kids, not even knowing, like not trying to, like stays there for life sometimes, or stays there till they get older, and then they all of a sudden realize, oh wow, I don't like that part, or I don't like that thing, or this way that I do this is because of this emotional thing that came up as a child. With essential oils, you have the most amazing potential and opportunity to feed their brain and to help their system adapt and modify of any other thing on the planet. I mean, it's amazing. So we're going to show you that. All right. So we're going to go through 3 parts. Part 1 is the how. Like, how does the neurology work? How do emotions work? What is it? Oh, good. Oh, camera guy. So how do these work in the brain? How do essential oils work with all this? And we're going to go through that. Then I'm going to go through the why. Like, why do you want to do this with your kids at all? Like, why do you want to use the essential oils for emotion? Like, why is that important? Show you some things that happen if you don't, and if you don't keep emotions in check, or at least help the body work through the emotions as they come up. And then we're going to go through the what, and I'm going to talk about like what oils to use, what oils are really great for emotion, what supplements are awesome that really help to feed the brain, and things like that. So you have some stuff to go home with, right? So this brain model right here talks about and shows how emotions work in the neurology. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you exactly how each sensation works in the brain. And then you'll understand how every single thing that you say, every single thing that you do has an impact on the emotional centers in the brain, because your brain has to process everything. Like literally right now, every millisecond, your brain is constantly analyzing the environment around you for one purpose. Like your brain, this part of the brain, this limbic system, this whole emotional center has one goal: to figure out whether you're safe or not safe. That's it. Like it's literally like, all day long. Are we safe? 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 We're not safe! Like there's like you're good until you're not good, right? Now with kids, you can see it. That's one thing that I love. With kids, you can literally see it. They're like, great, 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 blah! And they're freaking out. Like Tate, our adopted son, he freaks out with any bug. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a fly, it can be a giant, killer cockroach, something. Doesn't matter what it is. The fly, we're in a restaurant and there was a fly went by and he freaks out and is like throwing food at it. And real quick, when there's emotions. Now with adults, we're better at faking, right? Like we're better at making people think that we're okay. Now, okay, awesome interpreter lady, what's your name? Desiree. Awesome. Okay. Desiree. I'm going to use you for this. Okay, you're going to be my guinea pig for this. Okay. Just because I can't like roll off the front of the stage and come use somebody in the front row, that'd be awkward, you know? He fell off. So, okay. So here's how the brain processes any type of information coming in, any sensation, and emotions are the same way, and emotions come out of all of this. So, like, you don't just get mad for no reason. Like, you don't get sad for no reason. There had to have been a stimulus, right? But there had to have been something that happened. You had to have had a situation. You had to have had someone walk in you didn't like, whatever. There had to have been some type of stimulus that happened around you, and your body processed that as anger or fear or sadness or regret or whatever, right? Like, the emotions aren't the first step that happens. It's not like they get mad. You're like, oh my gosh, like, you have an anger thing. No, there's something else coming up that's causing that to happen inside their brain. So here's how it happens. So if I come up to Desiree, and she's doing this awesome job, translating, and she keeps going, and I tap her on the left arm, right? She doesn't do anything. She keeps translating, right? Now here's how her brain processes this stimulation, because I just pat her on the arm, right? When I touch her arm right here, that signal, there's nerve endings in the inside of the skin. Now watch this. I don't even want you to write this down. I want you to get how amazing your brain is, but how constantly it is processing all of the stimulation you come in contact with. From the lights in here, from Jody like smacking people with nitros, to like Desiree up here doing this like awesome like rock star job, like with the wave and stuff. Do the wave again. See? Awesome. And so, like all of the stimulation, you guys are all processing this and you have an emotional response. Like you laugh. That's an emotional response to a stimulus that you just saw. You see? So when I touch her arm, her left arm, that nerve in the side of her arm right here goes up to the opposite side of her brain and goes to the pre-central gyrus in her frontal cortex, right? You listen? Pre-central gyrus in the frontal cortex to literally tell her body and her brain where it is. So that if I tap her left arm, she doesn't go, oh, why did he touch my right foot? Does that make sense? Like if that signal doesn't work, then even if you get a stimulation here, she feels it somewhere else because it'll get all messed up and those signals get mixed. So right there at the very front, that front part of the brain, it literally just tells her where the sensation happened. Left arm, left arm. Now, once that sensation hits the pre-central gyrus, it goes back to this back part of the brain called Wernicke's area, okay? Wernicke's area quantifies what type of sensation it was, okay? So for Desiree, she felt me, right? It was touch. She felt me touch her left arm. Now, check this out. That sensation and the way that the body analyzes it is the exact same if I yelled something at her from here, or if I said something to her, like when I said, hey, what's your name? Awesome translator chick. And she goes, Desiree. And she turned left, right? She had to react to the sensation, and she had to turn, and she reacted to what I said to her based on a stimulation, but it went through the same pathway. So, front of the brain, pre-central gyrus to tell her where I am, where the sensation was. Then it goes back to Wernicke's area. Did she see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it? Okay? After it goes there, now it goes into this whole system right here called the limbic system. The limbic system's whole job is two things. One, are we safe or not? And two, I don't want to forget the things that I'm not safe about. So here's the first thing, like, am I safe or not? When that signal goes to the limbic system, and I'm sitting here with Desiree, it goes to the limbic system, I tapped her arm, and her limbic system goes, did that feel good or did it not? Did it hurt? Was it pleasure? Was it pain? Are we safe? Are we not? And her brain is sitting here and she's translating it out. She's translating her own thoughts, which is probably weird for her right now, but it's good. Her brain's going, well, it didn't really hurt and it didn't feel good. He's weird, but I don't think we're in danger. But no, we're good. And as long as her brain says, hey, we're safe, she doesn't do anything. She keeps translating. See? And she stays where she's at, and she keeps doing it. And I can sit here and do this, and it's totally fine, and she doesn't break stride. See what I'm saying? She's making fun of me. What did she say? She's ad-libbing, no ad-libbing. I did it. Now watch. Let me show you how a negative stimulus works, right? Now, and now watch this with kids. She freaked out? Yeah. I gotta get closer, right? You can't run away though. No, I'm kidding, I won't hurt you. I don't know. So a negative stimulus, if I rolled up to Desiree and I punched her in the arm, right? Instead of just tapping her arm, I haul off and hit her as hard as I could. It's the exact same pathway, exact same thing in the brain, exact same travel as it was if I just tapped her, right? It goes to the pre-central gyrus, it goes left arm, goes to the back of the brain to Wernicke's area, and it says that she felt me hit her in the arm. Then it goes forward to the limbic system, but this time it changes. Like this time in the limbic system, instead of her brain going, or no, we're good. Like instead of her brain saying that, her brain goes, what? And her brain freaks out. It goes, that hurts. And now that last step for her to actually defend herself, now she goes into what we call fight or flight. And you guys are familiar with this. When you get stressed out and your body goes, oh my gosh, something is wrong, whether it's traffic, brake lights coming up ahead, your order at the restaurant coming out cold, no matter what it is, when your brain goes, this is wrong, you go into fight or flight, and you're either going to fight off whatever is stressing you out. So in that situation, she would either verbally go, what is your problem? Or she'd hit me back. She would go, and she'd smack me. Or, how do you do that? Shapa. There you go, boom, like that. Or she's gonna run away. She's gonna like cry and run off stage, and she's gonna run from the negative stimulus. Do you see how that works? Now, emotions, what you say, places you go, all of these things work the exact same way in the brain because your brain has to process them to tell you whether you're in a safe place or not. Like when you walked in the building, you walked into this church, you go, oh look, they got cool colors, they got purple, I like that, it smells like oils in here, I think I'm in the right place, this is great. But some of you guys have social anxiety. I know you do, because statistically about 20 to 30% of the room, you can barely stand being in here right now because there's so many people. But the only reason you got in here is because you went in and everything was safe. You're like, safe, 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 safe. Okay, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, all the way to your chair. But because there's so much stimulus, your brain still has to process all that, okay? Now, let's talk about this big word for a second, neuroplasticity. Okay, so with kids, let's take Tate, for example. Like, he was adopted at birth. We were blessed to be at his birth. Like, literally, when we got the email that he was going to be coming up for adoption, like the mom was still pregnant, on Monday, we called the Crisis Pregnancy Center back on Tuesday. She went into labor on Wednesday, had him by Thursday. We signed papers on Saturday. Yeah, it was like, I mean, how many people know that when the Lord's ready to change your direction, it's like that? It's like, boom, right? And so literally, like, you're running one way, and then your leg breaks, and now you're rolling that way. Or, I mean, like, there's so many things that happen, and you got to be ready. But that's emotional and stressful. So we're in the ICU. He was in the NICU for like 10 days because he was early, right? And remember, the last time he was born in the exact same hospital. Watch this, exact same hospital where we birthed Evans and where he passed away. On the exact same hallway, 2 doors down from where Evans was delivered, half the same nursing staff, same NICU doctor, same waiting room, same everything. So our kids come in, and I'm going to show you how this works with kids. And if you think that they're not processing everything and they're not like sponging it up, you're wrong, and you're just missing it, okay? Now, how they react, like Ellie always reacts to emotion, like laughing and funny, like everything's a joke, and everything's really funny, and she like is always, everything's a game, and all these things, even then. But it almost takes those people longer. Like it's taken her years, like her processing through. And she talks about Evans all the time, and we talk about him and where he is now and what heaven might be like and all these things for her to process through, because she'll go through and she'll get really like kind of solemn. And so we'll start asking her about it. Well, Harper is the other. Like he's very linear. He's very literal. He's very like, okay, black and white. This is good. That's bad. And when we were in the hospital with Evans and we brought them in so that they could meet him, before we had to give him back, and when we were in that room, Harper just goes, shh. And he just completely shut down, emotionally. He was our, like, just outgoing, like, really take charge kid, and for about 7 months after that, he was a rageaholic. Like, when we were at convention, I mean, there were times, like, and that was a couple weeks after, that he would just go into rage fits, and I would just pin him and hold him, and just let him scream and cry for hours. Because they have to do something to get the emotion out, because they can't sit here and talk about it. Like, they can't process well. It's a totally different thing. Like, if this whole front row over here, if there was something stressful that happened here, I could come down there and we could talk about it, right? I could be like, hey, what did you see? Hey, how do you feel about that? Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on in your brain? Like, how are you doing right now? You know what I'm saying? With kids, they don't see it that way. That's why you have to walk out emotion with kids in life general. But using the oils, you can stimulate those pathways to help reduce stress for them, so that they have an easier time processing, easier time telling you and walking through all these different things in life that life's just going to throw at you. So the neuroplasticity, what this means is that when the brain fires a certain way, it will keep firing that way and make thicker, bigger nerves to that area of the brain until you give it a new pathway, right? It's like coming to California. There's two main ways to get here, right? We could have gone I-10 all the way up through Phoenix, but we chose to go I-8 all the way